Hi, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be creating a flowchart to help you find the noise in your field recordings. Where's the noise coming from? Is it at the point of recording or is it at the point of listening? Is the noise in the environment or in the equipment? So in my field recording journey, I ended up going through all these components to find the noise that seemed to be in my recordings. But what I learned was some of the noise was in the recordings and some of it was in the equipment I was using to listen to the recordings. So I'm going to go through what I pretty much came up with. First of all, there's your recording environment. You need to be aware of it. For instance, if you want to get natural ambience and bird song, you need to be aware of where human noise is coming from, such as roads, aircraft, how far away is it. If you can hear it with your ears, then it's going to be in the recording. There's another factor there. If you can't hear it with your ears, it could still be in the recording because your microphones are really sensitive. And post-recording, you may want to bump the volume up, and that's going to drag up the noise flow. So number one, we've got to think about our environment. Then number two is our recording equipment, especially our microphones. When I first started, I just bought a Zoom H1n and used the accessory wind protector and just went out and recorded. And very quickly I learned that there's a lot of handling noise. The wind protector that comes with it, it's not very good. And although I was absolutely fascinated by what I could hear, there was a lot of hiss, I could hear traffic, and I wanted to get better at it. The first thing I did was to get a really good set of microphones that could be clipped in to this recorder. So the XYs, they're okay, but they're not that good. But a lot of people were rating clippy microphones. So I bought a pair, which are here, with wind protectors. It's got a 3.5mm jack, and when it's plugged in, make sure it's all the way home. Got your wind protection on. Don't scrimp on the wind protection, just get the really good stuff. Yeah, it costs, but if you don't have it, your recordings are going to be noisy. So this is what I started with. And what I realized is that the recorder itself makes a lot of noise, which is like a hiss. So I decided to upgrade. I went and got a Zoom F3. Again, with clippy microphones, microphone and the wind protection. And that hiss that I got from the Zoom H1n was vastly reduced when I recorded with the Zoom F3. So the noise level in these are more or less negligible. I do use other microphones such as the Audio Technica 4025. As you can see, it's in a single unit and there's two microphones and it records in a 120-degree field in front of where the microphone is pointing. So if you think about your environment, if you've got a lot of noise behind you, if you have a directional microphone like this, you can point it away from the noise towards what you're trying to record. So this has wind protection. It has like this bubble over the top. Click into place. And over the top of that, you have your wind protector. Let's do that up. And there we go, and you can use this by hand, or you can put it onto a tripod. And I use it with the Zoom H1n. This microphone has got very low noise, incredibly low, almost imperceptible. So the first part in our chain is to understand our environment, our microphones, how our microphones are placed, also the type of microphone, omnidirectional like the Clippies, so it's going to pick sound up from everywhere, or directional like the Audio Technica 4025, and everything from them is going into a recorder via cables. So think about the cables. Have you trod on them? Have they been on something really hot? To always make sure your cables are good. And that plugs into the recorders. So look after your recorder. Whether it be something small and cheap or something a little bit more expensive, but it's got a much better quality. If we think about those factors, that's the recording element of it. Have we got the right kit? Is it good kit? Is it serviceable? Are we actually using it right in our environment? And after that, we get our recordings, we come home and we put it on the computer. So I'm going to share my screen now and we'll have a look at a recording. There we go. This is in Davinci Resolve. This is a recording I did with a set of Clippies and an F3 in a quarry. I'll press play and we can have a little listen to it. It's very low. Can't really hear much. There is a little hiss. There's a chuff, crow, other birds, and there's traffic noises, but the volume is really low. So what I'm going to do is increase the volume until we can see the waveform. And now we're going to have another listen. Okay, so our recording is really noisy. So what we're going to do first is to have a look at it in Fairlight. Where is the noise? I'm going to bring up EQ, drag it to one side. Let's have a look at where the noise is. Press play. So it's mostly down the low end. So that crow is coming up here between the 1K and 4K. That bird, other bird is up around the 3 to the 5K. Okay, let's stop that. What we're going to do, we're going to reduce some of the low end just to have a look at it, to see what it does with the noise. So band 1, increase that to 160. more or less there. Now I'm going to press play, and the equalizer's on. If you have a look here, what it's done is basically reduced the low end, and the bit that is reduced is there, that lighter portion. There, there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag band 2 down. Let's have a listen. It's taken a lot more out. Those wing beats are a little bit clearer. Let's drag 1 down as well. The noise gets less the more of the low end we remove. So I'm going to reset that, stop that, get rid of this. I'm going to export this now where the volume is increased. Audio only, wave 24, that's fine. Let's drop Davinci. Brought up Izotope RX11. I'm going to drag that file, the increased volume file, into here. We're going to have a look at all the noise and where the components are. Before we were looking at it in waveform, now we're going to be looking at it in the spectrograph. Let's have a listen to that. Okay, we'll try and keep the birds in and the wing beats, and we'll highlight an area to carry out some denoising. If you want to know how to do this, I made a couple of videos before this one, so you can go and watch those. So we're going to learn what the noise is, and we're going to preview it. So as it's going through the highlighted area, it's with the noise removed. And then when it comes outside of it, that's the noise that we were hearing. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to click off that highlighted area and press render to remove a lot of that noise from the whole file, as you can see there. Now let's play it again. Let's export that. WAV file 24-bit. OK. Desktop. So as we listen to that, a lot of the noise is gone, but there is still a hiss in the bottom end. So we're going to try and get rid of that now in EQ. So bring up the EQ, and if you remember when we were in Davinci, we used band 1, and we managed to reduce some of that hiss, some of that noise. And here we have wing beats coming down to around the 350 mark. If you have a look over here on this side, so the 350 mark. So what we're going to do is move the band 1 just below to around the 200, where it comes up to 250. So that's around here. And we're going to press render. Now that's all gone. Let's click off of that. Now let's have a listen to this one. Okay, so in that, a lot of the noise is gone, but if you also heard, a lot of the sounds have also been kind of hollowed out, but the hiss has been reduced massively, and that's the bit we're trying to find. So now I'll export that, drop RX, bring up Davinci, import those files. Here's all of those files now in Davinci. So we can see the one that's just had the increased volume has a lot of noise. Then we exported that to RX and did some spectral denoise. And you can see the noise band has reduced massively. And if we go into the next one, we can also see that noise band has reduced even more with the application of EQ. Let's have a comparative listen. What I'd like you to do now is to listen to that comparative recording just through the speakers in your computer, the most basic one. You'll probably hear the reduction in the hiss. Tell me, is there a hiss still remaining in the audio that was processed in Izotope RX. So have a listen. Next, what I'd like you to do is, if you've got a set of speakers that you can plug into your computer, reasonable quality speakers, I'd like you to plug them in. For instance, my computer speakers sound very different to these Logitech speakers. So have a listen. Do you notice the difference between your computer speakers, which are quite tinny, than your Logitechs or whatever you use, where the quality will be slightly better? Do you still hear a hiss or any other sound? Has it changed in character? And once you've done that a few times, what I'd like you to do is to get just an ordinary set of headphones. These are just bog standard headphones. I'd like you to get the same and have a listen. And what does that sound like in comparison to your computer speaker, your plug-in speakers? What's the difference? And then, if you've got them, I'd like you to get another set of headphones. For instance, these are DT 770 Pros, 32 ohm, low impedance. Plug that into your computer and have a listen. Now with mine, the computer speaker's the worst. The Logitech plugins are reasonably good. The bog standard headphones are awful, while the DT 770 is better, but there's still a hiss. Let's say it's a better quality of hiss. It's softer around the edges. So each thing you listen with has a different quality. Now what I'd like you to do, if you've got one, is to plug your headphones into an audio interface. So get your 32 ohm and your bog standard if you want, plug it into an audio interface, and then have a listen. So with mine, the quality has improved, but the hiss is still there. It's an even better quality hiss. Now, if you're really serious about your audio, say if you want to produce some commercially, you're going to have to go a step further, and that is to get a really good set of headphones. Now in the reviews that I've seen on YouTube, those DT 770 Pros are supposed to be amazing, but I can still hear noise. But then, is it in the recording? But the strange thing is, every single thing I listen to it with has a different quality of noise. The DT 770 has pretty good sound coming through the audio interface, but it's still there. So I ended up getting a really good set of headphones because I wanted to know where the noise was. So I ended up with a set of Sennheiser HD 800s. Now these are quite old, but I was really lucky because I was going to buy a set of Sennheiser 600s or 650s, which are highly recommended. But these ones, the 800s, are not made anymore. As a coincidental stroke of luck, I passed a garage sale down the road and there was a set of these in a box. So I bought them for a tenner, £10. And when I plugged these into the audio interface, there was no more hiss. It was gone. So what that tells me, and it should tell you, is that the noise isn't necessarily coming from your microphones or the recorder, but it's coming from the speakers or the headphones that you're listening to the audio with. So that audio interface that I've got there is the best one around in the price range. I think it was about £200. What I'll do is I'll put a link to that audio interface being compared with all the other audio interfaces that are available at the moment, and it's the top dog, and it's not the most expensive one either. So I'll put that link down below and you can have a look at that. Now as far as it comes to headphones, I'm also going to put a link to another YouTube channel where the guy goes through headphones scientifically, listening to see where noise is coming from. I was quite astonished by his work because he basically wiped out every single set of headphones except for the Sennheiser 600 series, which is the one I was going to get, but I ended up with the 800. Well, for a tenner, why not? But they don't make those anymore. However, they are supposed to be the best headphones that Sennheiser has ever made. I think you can still buy them second-hand from between £400 to £1,000, depending on their condition. So what I'll do now is I'll write out a flowchart that you could follow through. I will leave it for a few seconds at the end of this video, and hopefully it'll make you think about where the noise is coming from in your recordings. Is it coming from the environment, your recording equipment, or your listening equipment? Or you might come to the conclusion, like I did, that there's a little bit coming from everything. And the best thing to do is to get the equipment that's suitable for the job. I mean, if you're not going to go into it really seriously, you don't need to go into the headphones or the audio interface. But if you want to take it that step further, that'll be the place to go. Because then you'll know that if you send some audio somewhere, that it sounds right. If anybody else is hearing noise in it, it's their equipment. But if you want to go commercial, this is what you'll need to do. You need to know the noise isn't there. So I hope that was informative. The flowchart will be at the end. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.